Hey everybody, we got a phone here that has already been to the Apple Store, and it has a report from the Apple geniuses. And the report says this phone right here, this iPhone 8 Plus, has a software problem. So in their wisdom, that's the diagnosis from the people that have made this phone. It has a software problem. And now that's a real drag, because phones that have software problems are generally ones that you cannot recover the data from, because the phone needs to be able to have the right software in order to boot up. So let's go ahead and see if we can fix this phone with a toothbrush. Now, I think that we can. There's a good chance, because I've already fixed a bunch of 8 Pluses with this same toothbrush, and this one seems like it might have the same presentation. So all I've done so far is just open it up to say, is it water damaged inside? Nope, this looks like a perfectly normal looking iPhone 8 Plus. So we're gonna connect it to the DC power supply. The DC power supply is my favorite tool for asking, why the heck does this thing not turn on? Because it's gonna give us some kind of a hint of category. Is there a big short circuit on a main power rail? Or does it seem like it does boot up but it doesn't have image? Or what kind of category we're in, we can usually figure out from the DC power supply. So I've got the DC power supply hooked up, and I think our on-screen DC power report is going to work here. So this is normal. We're putting in that battery voltage 4 volts, and a phone that hasn't been asked to turn on sits at 0 current consumption. So that's all normal. So now let's see what happens when I press the power button right here. I'm going to press it and say, prompt to boot, prompt, 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 hello, hello. And we can see that this phone with its software problem is sitting at 20 milliamps. Now in my experience, 20 milliamps means there's a CPU problem. A phone that's completely brain dead will act just like this. The next thing that I think, kind of like a physician, is how did it come to be like this? So this is, I don't see a cracked screen, I don't see water. How did we kill a CPU deep inside an iPhone 8 Plus? And what I've seen before is, just like all the other phones, the 8 Plus gets those flexion defects. And one way in the 8 Plus that comes out is the CPU is not making enough contact to actually communicate with the rest of the board. How are we going to fix that? Dun, 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 dun. Let's see if we can fix this diagnosed by Apple software problem with my toothbrush. So all I'm going to do is open this thing up, and I'm going to look for where the CPU is. So if we look kind of at this big shield, here's the SIM tray, and then just north of that, under this shield, and you can kind of even see that there's like a little crease mark. So right along there is where I'm going to just see what happens if I just press down. So I'm pressing down, and hey, look at my DC power reading. Does that give me, hey, I see an Apple logo. So I'm going to keep that pressure. I'm pressing down. I'm trying to press that CPU down so that it just makes enough connection wherever it's come loose. And I'm pressing through this metal shield that's on top of this thing. So all I'm doing is applying pressure. Look at that. We've got a lock screen, and it booted. Yay! Now I'm going to release the pressure. And there we go. Oh, yes! Score 1 for the trusty toothbrush. The great and powerful toothbrush has been able to fix what the Apple geniuses could not. Looks like my squid cut off. But there you go. I'm doing this video just because it's just insane. This is like the 5th phone in a row that has some dumb note that Apple said blah. That's just so not true. They just say whatever. And I want you guys to know that if you've been to Apple, yes, there are a lot of things that truly aren't repairable or aren't recoverable for data, but don't take their word for it. Go see anybody else around you that's an independent repair shop. And there's bad ones out there, so go around locally. There's gonna be a good local independent repair shop near you. So whatever's wrong with your phone, get a second opinion. You don't want to have a phone that can be fixed with a toothbrush. Get told that you've got software problems and that there's nothing you can do. And that's all. That's the message for this one. 5th one in a row.